All right, testing, testing, shalom, shalom. All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. We the Hebrew Israelites from GMS Louisiana Saints, the Lafayette branch, coming back at you with another live lesson. All right, but before we go any further, we're going to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Harakak. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy of the double honors. Peace and blessing to you, Aki, and pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last seconds of time. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Mighty Shalom. Shalom. Right, as the title of this lesson is, A Flood of Fire is Coming. A flood of fire is coming. All right? And ultimately, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua said that he would send a flood of fire upon the world of the ungodly. And as we see in these times, were similar to the times as the days of Noah. Could you get that in the book of Matthew real quick, All right? These are the times that we're living in, all right? The times where Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, will return again, all right, in his angelic form with the power of the right-hand side of the Father, man. All right? Go ahead, brother.
So Matthew chapter 24, verse 36, this Yahweh Shai speaking, but of that day and hour knoweth no man.
That's right, but the Most High had given his spirit to the prophets. Tells you that in the book of Amos, all right? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Surely the Most High will do nothing but he revealing his secrets unto the prophets. And we don't know the exact time, but we know the season. If it's cold outside, you get your coat. If it's rainy outside, you get your raincoat. So the prophets know that the seasons that we're currently in is a season for all hell to break loose. So what should you do? Ephesians the 6th chapter says, all right, wherewithal have done all to stand, taking upon the whole armor of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, starting with the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, because a flood of fire is coming upon the world of the ungodly. Go ahead, Up.
Matthew 24, verse 36, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. Verse 37, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
That's right. And everyone looked at Noah as crazy. Everyone looked at him as someone that had lost their mind, because at that time on planet Earth, the Lord had not made it rain, but there Noah was preparing the ark for a flood. And that's likened unto the men of the Lord pertaining to Hebrews the 11th chapter, the evidence of believing without seeing. All right, that's the type of faith that we have at this planet, on this planet Earth, wherever the Lord has scattered us. To have that faith, knowing that the Most High is going to bring that flood again, but to prepare a spiritual ark. All right, and we're ultimately going to enter into those chambers, which are what the world ignorantly identifies as UFOs, which are chariots of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. We're going to enter into that ark, but we're preparing it right now spiritually within us. Go ahead, Art. Oh, you had one?
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
Okay. This is Genesis chapter 9. Right, going into after Noah and his sons exited the ark, after the flood was finished, right? Genesis chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 11. It says, as the Most High speaking to Noah, he says, and I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. Okay? And so, here in Genesis 9, the Lord promised Noah that he would, no longer destroy the earth by way of a flood of water. But that doesn't negate the fact that in prophecy, the Most High is going to bring a great, worldwide destruction in these end times. Okay? But this time it's not going to be done by way of a flood. This time it's going to be done by way of fire, as this lesson is going into.
This is just to back that up. This is Isaiah 54 and 9. I'll start at verse 8. It says, in a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, said the Lord thy Redeemer. For this is as the waters of Noah unto me, for as I have sworn as the waters For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, which is the rainbow covenant, so have I sworn that I will not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee. But the Lord is Yahweh, because the Lord says, I'll make a covenant that I won't flood the earth by water anymore. But I didn't say I wouldn't flood it by fire. So the Lord is going to ultimately flood the earth by fire, nuclear fire, by those ICBM nuclear missiles that the Lord ultimately devised through men. Behold, it is written, I created the smith that bloweth the coal, the instrument for my work. So the Lord is doing these things for his will to be accomplished on the planet Earth. So a flood of fire is coming. And that's starting with the word. The word is likened unto fire. All right. The word is going out, and guess what? It's devouring the planet Earth with prophecy. All right. Then it's actually going to literally happen. That fire is going to take and blot out perpetually Babylon the Great, which is America. You had some more in that Matthew up?
That was it.
That was it? You can go ahead, brother.
All right. This is Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 14. Wherefore thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall destroy them.
One more time, Baba Kusha.
Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 14. Wherefore thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood.
That's right.
And it shall devour them.
That's right. As it has been spoken pertaining to the book of Luke by the mouth of the holy prophet since the world had begun. So the Lord predestined us to come back in these times to have the Spirit upon us to go out and prophesy. And those words that we speak are likened unto fire, because guess what? It's devouring the philosophies of the world. All right. It's devouring the strongholds that Esau, Edom, these other nations, these dogmas that are put on our people. And guess what? The words that we speak are literally coming true. Scroll down your social media timeline, your news feed. All these things pertain to the Bible. Isaiah 34 says, seek ye out of the book and read, none shall want is made. You put this Bible up against any book on the planet Earth, and none shall stand, all right? All shall be trumped. So this prophecy pertaining to Revelation 19 and 10, the testimony of Yahushua, is the spirit of prophecy. This ultimately is a part of our testimony, Lord willing, we be at that number. You got it, Doc. You got something? You go ahead with it.
No.
And this people would, man. You know, so that's likened onto the words that we speak. All right. It's devouring this current system. That's why the system is going down like the way it is. You see all these things on the table. Economic crash, a major pestilence is looming, earthquakes in diverse places. All right. You got mass unemployment, you got civil unrest, all these things are on the table, but they come from the Bible. This is the word of the Lord going out throughout the planet Earth. We're just ambassadors of the Lord. Lord willing, we be at that number to even be of a privilege, to be of that class, to be of the hopeful elect. That's what we're laboring for right now, currently. But we know a flood of fire is coming. Go ahead, brother.
Let me get that 2 Peter for you.
Okay.
All right. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11. It says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and God? You mind if
Could you read up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Baba Kusha, the water.
I'm gonna start at 9.
Yeah.
All right. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. The Lord Yahweh is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
That's right. So the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, because when that indignation finally comes, guess what? You're going to wish the Lord was slack concerning his promise. All right. And you're going to know how much mercy he had given to his hopeful elect. So the Lord wants us to come back to this prophecy, to these oracles, to understand that, hey, this was the gift here all along. This was our token. This was our way out. This great book here that everybody else counted out. So this book says that all these things are going to be dissolved. So how is that actually going to happen? Thermonuclear heat, a flood of fire, like the brother illustrated in Genesis. The Lord is not going to destroy the earth or flood the earth with water anymore. It's going to be a different type of flood this time. All right, it's going to be a flood of fire, also known as the lake of fire. Okay, you got some more?
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
Verse 10, 2 Peter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
That's right. And can you get in Corinthians where it says the fashion of this world fadeth away? Because we know this world is temporary. And we see people constantly fighting day after day to go after the things that are going to be burnt up here in the society. But the Lord has set up his men to go after the things that are going to be eternal. All right. And we know that day is not going to overtake us if we be at that number. That day is not going to overtake us as a thief because what? We're preparing, we're praying, we're watching. Palal wa shamar, pray and watch. Watch and pray. Shamar wa palal. All right. If you're not watching, you should be praying. If you're not praying, you should be watching. But how should you be watching? Should you just be watching your favorite television show? No, you should be watching this via the prophecies in this great book that are coming to pass, and be looking to know when the time is near to get out of the way and escape these things, man. And of course, we know some of us will be martyrs, but that's the moral of the story. We're gonna do it for Yahweh Shem Shai. We're not doing this for men. All right, we're doing this for the Lord. Our Redeemer liveth. Okay. So it says, you can keep going, brother. Salaki, the water. You got Corinthians?
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead, Malak.
All right. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none.
That's right, because it's a mindset. All right. You're supposed to be spiritually leaving this place. Okay. There's nothing wrong with literally having a wife, but your mindset is not to be involved and persuaded and also committed fully to that, right? You're supposed to be committed to Yahweh Shem Shai, and everything else is going to follow. Not committed to everything else and then the truth follows. All right, it's a formula to this thing in righteousness that we've adopted from the apostles, man, and we're living it out, and we're preparing ourselves for this great day to come. Could you read it again out?
Okay. 1 Corinthians 7, verse 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none.
That's right. And not only do the brethren know the time is short, but guess what? The devil knows the time is short. According to Revelation 12 and 12, he knows the time is short, and he's going to come down with great wrath. So the Lord is preparing his men for what's to come. All right. Not only to be in that mindset, but to also literally live in that mindset while we're physically still here. We know we're going to get the incorruptible bodies, but you got to live a certain way here in America to dodge these fiery darts from the wicked, man, that are constantly coming. They're constantly coming. And guess what? They want you to be consumed in this lake of fire. The Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, wants you to come up in that spiritual ark, man, in those chariots and be delivered from this flood, man. That's going to take and overtake the world of the ungodly. Shalom Tadakim on the comment board, Yahweh Shem Shai, Barakatam, Shalom. You got it, brother.
It says, verse 30, and they that weep as though they wept not, and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not.
Right, because it's a mindset. The scriptures also tell you that let not he that cometh down from his housetop to take his stuff, roughly paraphrasing, right? Because it's a mindset. If you go back to the world, the scriptures say a warning is to remember Lot's wife. That's a staple in a lifestyle. Remember Lot's wife. All right. Turn back into those philosophies. All right. And was destroyed. And that's the mindset of the common people you live with on a daily basis at the job, at the stop sign, at the supermarket. They have that flood-like mentality. All right. That mindset that was existed in the antediluvian period, the time before the flood, man. All right. Antediluvian goes into before the flood. So these people had that mindset, and they were like, man, you know what? Ignorance is bliss. We didn't see the actual rain, so we don't believe it's gonna come. We haven't seen actual nuclear missiles raining down, so we don't believe it's gonna come. But the Bible speaks of these things. The scriptures say that and saved Noah, a preacher of righteousness, man. All right. But the Lord saved Noah in his household, which was the elect at that time. But he brought the flood upon the world of the ungodly, which we're going to get into. Go ahead, up.
Says 1 Corinthians 7, verse 30 again, and they that weep as though they wept not, and and they that rejoice as though they rejoice not.
Because the scriptures tell you it is better that he goeth into the house of mourning than to the house of feasting. All right, because the end thereof is death, roughly paraphrasing. So we're sighing and crying, because that sighing and crying is going to lead to Ezekiel 9:4, that badge of exemption, the wah. The wah is the last character, all right, the tha on the Hebrew alphabet, which goes into cross, mark, sign, which goes into badge of exemption. So the Lord literally got his elect out here obtaining that badge of exemption to take this place down, to show forth the end to this society. All right. So that's what we've been brought back to be a sign of an end to the society, man. So when we're raised up across the four corners, we're pieces of the Lord taking the society down in righteousness. You got it. I can go ahead.
It says,
you can speak on. I'm looking for this other one.
All right. And it says, and they that buy as though they possess not. Because your worldly possessions, those, it's not wicked for you to have certain things and, and whatnot, but ultimately, like the brother was going to earlier, ultimately don't set your heart in those things, because like Yahushua said in Matthew 6, where your treasure is, that's where your heart is going to also be as well, roughly paraphrasing. So, we have a mindset of not setting our heart on the treasures and the possessions that we have in this world, because ultimately it's not going to come with us in the kingdom,
That's right.
And it says, verse 31.
Godliness, if I could just say, godliness with contentment is great gain, for it is sure that we brought nothing into this world, we could take nothing out, right? Because this body is material, but guess what? The spirit, all right, we're going to occupy those incorruptible bodies with this spirit right here, all right? These material things, they're not going to last, Hakeem, all right? They're going to be burnt up in this lake of fire. But the mindset, like the scriptures say, the kingdom is within, all right? It can be obtained by observation. The kingdom is within. It's within us. It's being built up. It's a spiritual temple, all right? It's New Jerusalem. It's not a physical place. It's a spiritual temple, according to Ezekiel 11:16. Around 11:16, the Lord has scattered us and made us a little sanctuary. So you got a little sanctuary in London, the UK, Jamaica, Suriname, all right, Rome, Italy, all across the four corners, Australia, whatever it may be. But what's the common denominator? Those lyrics found in Revelation 14th chapter. Fear Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Don't take the charagma, and Babylon is going to be destroyed. All right. That's what you see men across the four corners of the planet Earth coming back to. That cannot be made by Esau Edom. You got it, Doc.
It says, 1 Corinthians 7, verse 31, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. Yeah, so though we use this world, we get loans, we get credit cards and stuff like that. We try to, do things that we got to do to get by in this world, but we don't abuse it. Meaning what? We don't fully invest into the things of this world. Okay, our possessions, women, as the Apostle Paul went into in verse 29 in this chapter, we don't fully invest in all these things because these things are going to pass away. All right, because ultimately we set our affections and we invest in things of the kingdom. We set our affections on things in the heavens. All right, the eternal things.
Yeah, and that's beautiful because it goes into heaven and earth shall pass away with a great noise. It's not talking about the literal earth being destroyed. It's talking about this system, the fashions of the society is going to be taken away, man. All right, the leadership of this current realm, the current planet Earth, is going to go from the hands of wicked to the hands of righteousness, and it's going to have a total different effect on the planet Earth. It's going to have a total different effect on nature, mankind, the trees, the birds. All those things are going to go back to us in order. Now we're going to have the dominion over the beasts of the field again, like it was in the beginning. All right? We're going to be likened unto the sons of God like it was in the beginning. Enoch, dedicated, a learned man. All right? We fell from that statue. But guess what? The Lord brought the flood upon the world of the ungodly. And the Lord is going to do that in this time. But it's going to be a nuclear fire. You got it out.
So back in 2 Peter 3, verse 10, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
Ooh. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. And we know that's not talking about the little earth, because the scriptures tell you that the earth abideth forever. It's talking about the ways, the fashion, the system. The image is going to be taken out. All right. And guess what? The image is going to be replaced with righteousness. And it's starting to be built up on the planet Earth. It's being built up by the men of the Lord, from the apostles on down to the least of us. The images of Yahushua being brought back on the planet Earth as they were destroyed, all right, by Esau, Edom, iconoclasm, whitewashing, all right, the Renaissance period. Now they're being rebooted and rectified and brought back through us, man. We're the images of the Lord, man. All right. You're seeing them now in real time. All right. You don't have to look in the books and read about them and say they existed in this time. The Lord is raising them up from the apostles on down to the least of us. You got it, Doc.
Yeah, God. And if I could say too, in this chapter, 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, the Apostle Peter was seeing, the judgment of the Lord by way of fire happening on the earth, the physical earth, not in some place called hell underneath the ground, as you have the Christian church and even some of these other camps teaching. No, he saw judgment by fire taking place on the planet Earth. Okay, certain parts of the earth being burned up. Because even when you look at Sodom and Gomorrah, now here we are in America, the modern day Sodom and Egypt. Okay, when you read in Genesis, how did the Lord take down ancient Sodom and Gomorrah? Did He bring a whole entire 5 cities down into the earth, into a place called hell, and burn it up with fire? No, He brought fire to that place, to those 5 cities on the earth. And so that's the same thing, the same exact thing that the Lord's going to do to this place, America, Babylon the Great. Okay, send fire down from the heavens in the form of ICBM nuclear missiles to turn this place into a lake of fire. And it says, 2 Peter 3, verse 11, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness?
That's right. Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved. The elements shall melt with fervent heat. This place is going to be turned to a lake of fire. It tells you in Jeremiah that the Arabians shall not pitch tent here anymore. It's going to be a smoke for memorial. So knowing all those things, how should we be living now? How should we be treating the brotherhood? How should we be our anoscopia? Okay? Our conversation, how should that be? All these things should be exhibiting that we're ready to take upon the image of Yahushua. We're ready to bear that testimony. All right? We're ready to not only get the incorruptible body, but to go through that fiery trial. And that's what's being displayed from the apostles on down to the least of us. Lord willing, we be at that number to take upon that testimony and be called, because it's an honorable thing to be called for the Lord, man, and to be coming back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and to escape these times, man. For as it is written, alas, that day is great. It is the day of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So Lord put that exception in there for the hopeful elect to be saved from this fiery indignation, this hot indignation that the Lord is gonna spill down on the planet Earth via those ICBM nuclear missiles, as well as the concentrated heat off those chariots, man, what the world ignorantly identifies UFOs, as well as pertaining to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, Yahushua's presence, man, sparks, tempests, all right? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence, man, all right? So that alone, man, is going to bring upon that flood upon the world of the ungodly. But you got it up. You got something? You go ahead.
Yeah. I'm gonna read the next one real quick.
All right, you can go ahead.
I'm thinking of something, but I can't quite remember what it said. All right, this is also in 2 Peter. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 5 says, and spared not.
Could you start at 4, Bubba Show?
All right, come. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. For if the Most High Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment.
That's right. And it says, for if the Most High, for if our power spare not the angels that sin, angels can sin, right? but cast them down to hell, right? Hell could be likened unto a low place, all right, a condition, or the grave, a pit, right? It says, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. And that's likened unto the sons of God. All right, Lord willing, that be us. We're literally angels in the flesh. All right, chains of darkness, but the scriptures also says, turn ye prisoners of hope. All right, so we've been brought in this lower state. All right, but guess what? Soon those chains are going to be off, and we're going to be glorified and exalted in that crown of life with the incorruptible body. All right, so we're the angels that sin. We've been cast down to this hell, this society. This is likened unto a Edomite's heaven and a Israelite's hell. This is a low place. All right, this is a pit. This is a captivity, man. All right, this is a condition. But guess what? The Lord said He's going to not acquit the wicked. It tells you in Psalms, promotion neither coming from the east, the west, the north, nor the south. But Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua is the judge. He pulled it down one and set it up another. He just so happened to set up the basis of men and pull down the righteous for a certain period of time. But that narrative is being taken out of the earth. Now we're being brought back to our right mindset. Now we're being brought back to the apostles' doctrine. And now we're being brought back to that state of mind to where we're going to escape these times. All right, we're gonna abide in the shadow of the Almighty and be brought up into that spiritual ark, man, and escape that flood. You got it out.
Yeah. 2 Peter 2 verse 5, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
One more time, Baba Kusha.
2 Peter 2 verse 5, and spared not the old world.
The antediluvian period, the period before the Lord, all right, covered the earth with water, all right? The antediluvian period, the old world, quote unquote. The Lord didn't spare that, and He made a covenant that He wouldn't destroy the earth, all right, cover the earth with water anymore, flood it with water anymore, all right? But this time, it shall be a flood of fire. Shalom, Makim Yabba Shimon Shabrak thumbs. You got it. You can keep going.
It says, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly.
That's right, upon the world of the ungodly. A flood of water. Because at that time, like it tells you, in the days of Noah, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving on to marriage until the day the flood came and took them all away. So here they are here in America, is in the days of America 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, all right? Our people are still marrying, banqueting, giving onto marriage until those nuclear missiles come and take them all away. And we see these different calamities on the earth are taking our people, all right? The jump shot, the philosophies, and soon to be Revelation 13 and 16, the charagma, all right? These different things are being put as snares in front of our people, and they're taking the bait every time. And every captivity, the Lord brings the righteous back to stand in His name. It tells you in Romans, I believe it's 11, it says, the Lord had reserved 7,000 men that have not bowed to the knees, to the image of Baal, Salakia. They have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So if you're not bowing, what are you doing? You're standing stiff. And that's what the men of the Lord are going to be doing in these times, in these perilous times, man. We're going to stand stiff. Lord willing, we be at that number. Go ahead, Art.
2 Peter 2 verse 6, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly.
That's right. You can speak on it, bro.
Yeah, God.
Looking for this other.
You know, and as we spoke of earlier, ancient Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by way of fire on the earth. Not in some, as well as the people of Sodom and Gomorrah as well. All right, the Lord didn't bring them down to no place called hell. No, He brought fire to them on the earth, and that memorial of ancient Sodom and Gomorrah is still burns to this very day. Meaning what? Is it physically burning on fire with smoke in the air to this very day, thousands of years later? No, but the memory of it is still burning. Okay, it's still on fire.
Yeah.
And the Lord,
it burns in our mind
to
show forth the Lord's judgment, man, and what He did to that place. just as an example is the flood. That's an example of the Lord's judgment, man, and what he could do on the planet Earth. All right. So the Lord is to be feared, and his name is to be praised on the planet Earth. And that's what the Lord is going to destroy America for, to well establish his name, make it famous upon the planet Earth. All right. And show forth that his name is above all. It's going to be proof beyond a reasonable doubt after all these calamities, pestilence, famines, this third woe takes place. It's going to be proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is who he says he is, who we said he was, and we are who the Lord ultimately raised us up to be in his name. You got it out.
You want me to continue?
Yep. You can go to the next precept.
All right.
You had one? Yeah, you can go to yours, brother.
All right. This Habakkuk chapter 3, and I'm gonna start from verse 3. All right. Habakkuk 3:3 says, Yahweh came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. Verse 4, and his brightness was as the light. Okay, his brightness was as the light. Scripture speaks about how Yahweh Shai is going to come with the brightness of his coming. And it says, he had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Verse 5, before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet. Talking about, those laser beams shooting out of the chariots, right? Kind of like how they show you in the movie War of the Worlds back in 2005 with Tom Cruise. They basically showed the chariots, those laser beams shooting out, disintegrating people. Well, that's the same exact way that Yahweh Shai and the angels are going to come back to bring, more fire upon this place. All right, America is going to be destroyed by way of nuclear fire and the fire from the chariots of Yahweh Shai and the angels. So it says, verse 6, he stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. Verse 7, I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. All right, and then verse 8, was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea? That thou didst ride upon thy horses and thy chariots of salvation. And so Habakkuk, he was seeing the destruction that the Lord's going to bring by way of the chariots and whatnot, and the fire that's going to be shooting down from the chariots. And it was basically asking them, like, damn, Lord, you angry with the oceans, you angry with the seas and the rivers, showing you just, illustrating how much destruction the Lord's going to bring upon the earth by way of fire, from the missiles and from the chariots.
Right.
That was it.
It tells you in Nahum 1:3, I believe it says, the Lord is slow to anger. He haveth his way in the whirlwind. It tells you in Isaiah 66 and around 15, I believe.
Yeah.
It says the Lord will come with his chariots like a whirlwind. So the Lord is having his way in this thing, man. All right? Esau, Edom, your militaries, they're pipsqueaks when it comes to the heaven's armies, man. And the Lord is going to show that. If Yahweh Shai doesn't have to lift up any sword nor instrument of war, what does that tell you? What bully on the playground play like that don't even have to lift up anything to deal with his victims, man? Like the Lord is going to deal with these militaries of the planet Earth and make a speedy riddance of them on our behalf. So Lord willing, we be at that number, man. That's a great, to be of that company, for the Lord to intervene and deliver us and stand on our behalf in front of the nations, man, that's glorious. All right. To be a part of that, to have a power that's backing you like that, man. And to know that the Lord has set us up to be called in his name and to come back to that, man. We gotta fight into the end, Hakeem. All right. This is the truth. You got it, brother.
This is Psalms chapter 18, verse 3. This is a psalm by King David. He says, I will call upon the Lord, Yahweh, who is worthy to be praised.
That's right. The Lord and the Son by their true Hebrew names, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right. Yahweh, he is. All right. He exists. All right. The Ancient of Days. Bahashim in the name, all right, Yahweh Shai, he deliverer, all right, whom the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. This is going to be displayed in these perilous times. The righteous are going to be calling upon that name, and it's going to separate them from those that have not been chosen to be brought back into this association of the ministry. That's going to be shown in these times, man. There's a saying that says desperate times calls for desperate measures. Spiritual times calls for spiritual measures. Pray and watch. Call upon that name. Resort back to your power, man. That's what the Lord is telling us. Hey, come back to the power. Come back to that shade. Come back into the ark. Come into these chambers. All right, the flood is coming. Go ahead, Art.
It says Psalms 18 verse 4. Let me finish verse 3. Psalms 18 verse 3. I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised.
Yes, the Lord is worthy. Go ahead, brother.
So shall I be saved from mine enemies.
Ooh, and we have a host of enemies and their militaries. How can we go up against the earth's militaries? We need something bigger than us to do that. That's where the Lord steps in. All right. But the Lord has the program on the planet they're going. It's a storyline. The wicked is in rulership. Yada, yada, yada. It seems like they're going to win. Guess what? That buzzer beater is going to be hit on the wicked. Thus said the Bible. At the end, in the moment of the twinkling of an eye, the Lord is going to deliver us, man. We're going to get the victory over our enemies. And that's the storyline that we're going by. And that is what's actually being displayed on the planet Earth. Everybody else is totally in the matrix. We're out of the matrix and we're seeing the things for what it is. We got that eye salve. We have that anointing at this time, man. To see these things that the Lord has raised us up to see. And guess what we're doing? The scriptures say the prudent man foreseeth evil and does what? Hide it himself. We don't want to be caught up in that flood. We want to hide ourselves in the chariots, man. Lord willing, we'll be at that number. Go ahead, brother.
It says, verse 5, Psalms 18, verse 4, the sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid.
One more time.
Psalms 18, verse 4, the sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid.
That's right, because we're literally in hell. Literally, man. All right? We're consumed by the lies. People around us, our enemies compass us. All right? We're in a low place. All right? We're in this captivity, man. All right? We're trying to be consumed and drowned in the lies of men, snares. The main accuser of our brethren, Esau Edom. All right? His flood of lies. But the scriptures tell you in the book of Revelation, roughly paraphrased, it says, the earth shall help the woman, all right, with that flood, basically, which is those lies and those philosophies and dogmas, which are going to be swallowed up by the history, all right, along with the Bible, man. Secular history coupled with the Bible, which is destroying these philosophies and these dogmas presented by our enemies on the planet Earth, pertaining to Psalm 83rd chapter, who come as a gang and a host against us, man. We have plenty enemies actively. They're actively, like, what does Jake say? Oppositions, the ops. You got to list the ops, man. All right? And the only way to get some type of get back is spiritually, man. So that's the route we're taking. That's the only route. Go ahead, brother.
Psalms 18, verse 4, the sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. Verse 5, the sorrows of hell compassed me about.
Ooh.
The snares of death prevented me.
Now, was King David literally in a place where you burn forever? No. All right? You got it, right?
This is Isaiah chapter 5, verse 13. Therefore, my people are going into captivity.
Ooh.
Into captivity. Keep your mind on that.
That's right.
Isaiah 5 and 13. Therefore, my people are going into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Verse 14. Therefore, hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure.
That's right.
And their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it.
That's right. What Prophet Jonah spoke of as being in the belly of the beast, hell, right? That's where we are, a low place, man. And the only way out is through Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the straight gate. All right. But we know it's going to be turned around. The storyline is turning already in the earth. The wicked is being revealed, all right, for who he truly is. The lies, the flood is being dried up by the word, man. The word is taking away that flood of the ungodly, man. All right, that's coming up against us. And ultimately, the Lord has something major planned in store for the wicked. Starting with you, Esau, Edom. You're at the top of the Most High's wanted list. When you go into that precinct and you got the bounties, you got wanted here, wanted there, you be like, man, this guy been wanted for how long? The bounty keeps rising and rising and rising on you, Esau. Most High, guess what? Tells you in the book of Job, he shall make it rain upon him while he's eating. So you're gonna get cast out on Esau real soon, man, with these judgments. Go ahead, Doc.
God. It's 2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 6. It says, and thou lettest him into paradise, talking about Adam.
Could you start at 5, Baba Kusha?
Okay, come. 2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 5. And gavest a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of thine hands, and didst breathe into him the breath of life.
That's right. Genesis 2 and 7, Adama, from the ground. All right. So the Lord breathed into him the breath of life, which is likened unto these laws, statutes, and commandments. This wisdom, knowledge, understanding. That's the breath that ultimately we're using now. Jeremiah 5 and 14, we brought it out. That's devouring this place. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. This prophecy. It's flooding this place. It's devouring this place. And guess what? The wicked, they're being rooted up. The scriptures tell you that I've seen servants upon horses and princes walking upon the earth, roughly paraphrasing. But now the Lord is turning this place right side up. Lo and behold, through these judgments, Jacob's trouble, Revelation 13 and 16, the Charagma, Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. All right. The righteous man shall stand in great boldness, Revelation the 15th chapter. The victory, the elect had gotten the victory over the beast in its image. So it's a victory to be won, but it's labor to be done. Go ahead, brother.
It says, and didst breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before thee.
Eat. What it tells you in the book of Ezekiel, sweet and bitter, the whole roll, the Lord cometh in the volume of the book. We ate Yahushai, man. We devoured this word. And now we go out and teach. And it's coming up into the times that we're actually talking about, these perilous times, Jeremiah 30 and 7, Jacob's trouble. So now we're moving more carefully. Prudent man foreseeth the evil, hideth himself. The word prudent goes into being careful. All right. The righteous shall abide in the shadow of the Almighty. All these things are happening on the planet Earth, and we're hiding ourselves in wisdom. We're doing what the Lord said does. There's going to come a time where the scriptures tell you not a famine of bread, but a famine of hearing the word. And then the scriptures also tell you in the Apocrypha that make ye ready for the battle, in those days be as pilgrims upon the planet Earth. We're coming upon those times, man. Hurricane season, tempest season, political uproars, civil unrest, a major pestilence, third person affected today. I'm not going to say the name for the purposes of this video, but third person affected with a pestilence today that could turn into a viral outbreak, man. But we know these things are going to come. But how should we be conducting ourselves in these times? That's what the Lord wants us to be in the mindset of. When all hell is breaking loose, if you have the names of Yahweh Shem Yahushai and they're a strong tower, what should you be doing? You should be preparing spiritually. Wake up, Jacob. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. It says, 2nd Ezra 3, verse 5, and gave his, I read that already. Verse 6, and thou lettest him, Adam, into paradise, which thy right hand had planted.
That's right. Paradise likened on to Eden. All right. But through the elect being established in the planet Earth under Yahushua, Earth is going to return to Eden again through us being established in. But it's going to be through that fire. And fire is a mechanism for, like they have a strategy called basically slash and burn. You burn it down to create new life, basically, to start it over again. Roughly paraphrasing, but brothers out there know what I'm talking about. But that's what the Lord is going to refresh the earth with, fire. That water was a refresher. in which 8 souls were saved. Look at the statistic with the Lord. The Lord don't play about taking everybody out and only saving a few. That's how he deals, man. So how should we be walking in these times knowing the Lord is not gonna, the people that we see around us, like the scriptures say, let the multitude perish that were born in vain, man. But let my grape be kept. We got to fight to be a part of that grape, to be a part of that number. You got it out.
It says, verse 6 again, and thou leddest him into paradise, which thy right hand had planted before ever the earth came forward.
Ooh.
Verse 7, and unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way.
Wait, so you saying at the beginning, when it was Adam, the Lord gave commandments? He gave orders, statutes? Yes, man. They weren't actually written. They were oral. The Lord gave him that wisdom, knowledge, understanding, how to deal with women, how to deal with his nation, all right? How to, what to eat, what not to eat, what things were clean, what things were unclean, how to deal in order, man. And that's how the Lord has brought us back to what to do, what not to do. But guess what? The law is not done away with, but it's fulfilled in Yahweh Shai, faith in Yahweh Shai, man. All right? In this word, Yahweh Shai is the brotherhood. I reached out my hands and put them forth, and I said, behold, these are my mother, my father, my brethren. And those were the Akim. That's who's going to be in that sound mind in these times. Your like-minded brothers. Go ahead, Doc.
Says, verse 7, and unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way, which he
love thy way. The scripture says no other greater love than what? A man that'll lay down his life for his friend. And what you was gonna say, Salakia?
Nah, I was gonna quote it right along.
You can go ahead, I can quote it, brother.
Yeah. You know, the Lord gave Adam the Holy Spirit, that breath of life, to love his way, his laws, his commandments, his wisdom, his understanding. You know, because the Lord set Adam up to be a king and high priest on the earth.
That's right.
And to bring forth, okay, we know ultimately, you know, out of Adam came both the righteous seed and the wicked seed. Cain being the wicked seed, and Seth and his descendants being the righteous seed. And it was through Seth and his descendants that that lineage of the sons of God were to rule on the earth as kings and priests under Adam. You know, the first king and priest under the earth. But you know, of course, we know in the story, Adam transgressed. Then ultimately, you know, the descendants of Seth transgressed, the sons of God, mingling with the heathen nations. All right, which eventually led to what? The flood. The Lord bringing a flood upon the earth. All right, and saving Noah and his immediate family, 8 souls. It says,
and if I could just say, and you could tell that was Yahweh Shai, because it says, could you read it about the commandment to love thy way?
Come. 2nd Ezra 3, verse 7, and unto him thou gavest commandment.
And this is speaking of Adam. Go ahead.
God.
The Lord gave Adam the commandment from the beginning. Go ahead.
It says, verse 7, and unto him thou gavest commandment to love thy way.
To love thy way. Then it's later written that Yahweh Shai said, no greater love than a man that'll lay down his life for his friend. Yahweh Shai did that first and foremost for the nation of Israel. That's Adam right there, man. So that was programmed in them from the beginning. You're going to do this for the nation of Israel, man. To lay down your life for your friend. So now it's within us. That same testimony. All right? Go ahead, brother.
It says, which he transgressed, and immediately thou appointedest death in him and in his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number.
That's right. It tells you in 2nd Ezra the 6th chapter, from Adam come we all, even a nation whom thou hast chosen. But the other nations thou hast likened them unto spittle, a vessel that falleth out of a bucket, roughly paraphrasing. All right? Go ahead, Art.
Verse 8. And every
so if Adam came from the ground, all these other nations, they were likened on to that, man. Go ahead, brother. It's later when Cain had that mark put upon him, a leprosy, man. All right. Then what? Cain had the spirit of Esau, Edom. Same thing, same spirit.
Blessed with the sword,
to
making weapons.
That's the storyline, bro.
Altar and music.
Yep. Cain goes in a dagger. You know this, and the Lord has made these things plain unto us, from the apostles on down to the least of us. So now we see the same thing coming full circle. The Lord is about to hit this place again with another flood. Go ahead, Doc.
And if I can also say as well, because a major part of the reason why the Lord brought the flood as well was because of the wickedness done by Cain and his descendants. You know, for you brothers that have a copy of the works of Josephus, you know, the whole entire books, you know, Flavian Josephus, he breaks down into the history of Cain and his descendants and all the stuff that they were doing before the flood, you know, leading mankind into all types of idol worship and violence and making weapons and all types of rebellion against the Lord. You know, so his descendants was also a part of talking about Cain, right? A major part of why the reason the Lord brought the flood on the earth during that time. And guess what? We know through the Spirit that Cain and his descendants came back as Esau, Edom. And what do we see Esau, Edom doing throughout the earth? The same things, making weapons, doing all types of violence and robbery throughout the earth, leading humanity astray, going left after the ways of Satan. All right, and the Lord's getting ready, and with all this, the Lord's getting ready to bring a great judgment upon the earth by way of fire. But 2 Ezra 3 verse 8, and every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before thee, and despised thy commandments. And in process of time,
flood-like behavior, and we see those things happening right here in America. That's where hell is. All these things taking place. All right, the lives of men, a low place. It's here in America. It's on the earth right now, man. Envy, wrath, greed, strife, vanity. That's not happening in an actual place where you burn forever. That's here in America, man. You see all these things going on because the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Go ahead, brother.
It says, verse 9, and again in process of time thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroys them.
One more time.
2 Ezra 3 verse 9, and again in process of time thou broughtest the flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroys them.
That's right. In the process of time, the Lord brought a flood upon the world, the ungodly, and destroys them. And that same thing is going to happen in this time. In the process of times, you see captivities passing all the way up into this time, all right, with this extended version of the Roman Empire, which is America, all right, is ruling and trying to establish a CBDC, central banking digital currency. Revelation 13:16, he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor. So the storyline here is now that serpent, that old serpent, all right, that old serpent, that spirit from the beginning that was in the serpent, that was in the same spirit that was in Cain, that was in Esau, Edom, that's in these international banking families, these elites, chiefly Amalek today. That old serpent is now, all right, head will now be severed off. Because how do you ultimately have to kill a snake? You can't keep hitting the tail. You got to take that head off, right? The body shall fall. That's what the Lord is ultimately doing here in America. The city of confusion is being broken down, all right, all the way down. We're at the miry clay now until this place is ultimately finished, man, all right? Where Leviathan is going to be broken in pieces, man, all right? The EU and the NATO and the military branches, man, all right? Their power, their might is going to be taken out by Yahweh Shemi Shai, the Lord of Sabaoth, which goes into the heaven's armies, man. But we're a part of the Lord's armies, all right? Like the brother GMS, the elder GMS spiritual army, all right? We're a part of the Lord's spiritual army, man. Lord willing, we be at that number. Go ahead, Art.
2 Ezra 3 verse 10, and it came to pass in every one of them that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these.
That's right. As death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. As ultimately you had that decline, all right? And like the scriptures tell you, the earth is weaker with age all the way up until this point. All right. The scriptures tell you that the earth is weaker with age. So up until this point, the scriptures tell you the trees are mourning, man. All right. The animals are crying out, man, for the wicked that's ruling over them. And the scriptures tell you the devil shall come down onto you with great wrath. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, All right, that's mankind. All right, the elites have a plan to, like that guy. I'm not gonna say his name for the purpose of this lesson, but his quote was, "The next one will get their attention." All right, the next one will get their attention. Right, you out there know who said that, but that's the mindset of these elites, man. They want to take out. They think that to cut them off of being a nation. Psalms 83rd chapter, man. But the Lord is sending a flood of fire this time, man, upon the world of the ungodly. You got anything, brother?
Okay. This is Isaiah chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. Verse 16. For by fire and by a sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So the slain of the Lord is going to be many on the earth by way of his fire and by way of his sword. Through what? That whirlwind, as it just mentioned, which is what? The chariots, what Esau calls so-called UFOs.
That's right.
You know? So, hey, the great flood-like judgment that the Lord's getting ready to bring on the earth in these outer days is going to be by way of fire. Fire from the nuclear missiles, as well as the fire from the chariots. You know? And it's all going to take place here on earth, not in some place under the ground called so-called hell. You know? That was it.
Count, when Lord Willis message has been edifying. All right, we're going to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Harakhakwadash. Double honors to our teachers, the apostles, and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessing to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last seconds of time. Kwam Yashala, Bob, Shalom. Until next time, Shalom, Akim.